fellow Indian person, you probably grew up reading Indian comic books about Akbar and Birbal. Akbar was the third emperor of the Mughal Empire of 16th century India. Birbal was one of his most important advisors, and the two of them survive into the modern day as a kind of fable-telling comedy duo. Akbar gets into all kinds of scrapes and inconveniences. Birbal pops up in the nick of time to save him and offer a handy moral lesson. I've been reading a lot of P.G. Wodehouse in my spare time recently, and Akbar and Birbal kind of remind me of an ancient Indian Worcester and Jeeves. And there's one particular Akbar and Birbal story that I think can teach you a lot about your job search. Here's how the story goes. Akbar and Birbal were walking in the park one night when they came across a man who was desperately searching for something on the ground. Akbar asked him what he was looking for, and the man told him, "Your Highness, I've dropped my diamond ring and I'm looking for it here." Akbar is touched by the man's distress, and so he directs one of his guards to help the man search for the ring. The two men search, but they find nothing. So Akbar directs his other guard to help him search for the ring. The three men all search together, but they still find nothing. Finally, Akbar is so concerned that he himself gets onto the ground and searches for the ring, but even he is unable to find it. All the while, Birbal just stands to the side, smiling quietly. Annoyed at Birbal's lack of action, Akbar says, "Birbal, help us. How can you stand there and do nothing?" Birbal pauses, and then he asks the man, "Where did you drop the ring?" And the man points to a spot that's 100 yards away where it's completely dark, and he says, "I dropped it over there." Akbar leaps up, enraged, and he cries, "You fool! Then why did you make us all look over here?" And the man points to the street lamp that's above them, and he says, "Because it's light over here and it's dark over there. This is where it's easiest to look." Now, what does this have to do with your job search? Looking for your next job by cold applying to job posts on LinkedIn is like looking for your ring under the street lamp, even though you dropped it 100 yards away in the dark. Cold applying to jobs on LinkedIn is simple and quick and easily available. It gives you the illusion of progress. And after a bad day at work, it helps you just burn off some steam and feel like you're doing something, but it's not actually moving you towards your goal. What you really need to be doing, if you want to be doing something different, is the less comfortable but more effective work of quote unquote looking in the darkness, which in this case is you need to figure out everything you do already know about your next career step. Then you need to list out the genuine unknowns that you still need to figure out. You need to gather data to shed light on those unknowns. And then once you're clear on what you want to do next, you need to start talking to people and tapping your network to find out what roles are out there and to get referrals. And then, and only then, might you start applying to some job postings on LinkedIn. It can be very, very helpful to have a coach as you go through this process. Not because you're not smart enough to do it on your own. Of course you are. The reason it's helpful to have a coach as you go through this process is because you're very likely to have what I call fear brain flare-ups as you do all the things I just said. Things are going to happen. Things like you'll have an awkward conversation with somebody, or you'll see a classmate's super impressive job update on LinkedIn, or you'll see postings for your ideal job, but they'll all require way more experience than you currently have. And then your brain is going to get spooked and it's going to kick off a fight or flight response, aka you will have a fear brain flare-up. And your fear brain will tell you, just mass apply for 50 jobs right now. Surely one of them will give you an interview. Or maybe your fear brain will tell you, just give up. Resign yourself to staying here. You can't expect anything better. Or your fear brain might tell you, this hour we set aside for job searching, let's just scroll on Instagram instead. Or give you any other fear-based suggestion that gives you a little bit of relief in the moment, but that ultimately prevents you from reaching your goal. A coach is there to help you recognize when you're having a fear brain flare-up and then help you disarm your fear brain and come back to your flow brain. Now, what's your flow brain? Really simple. Your flow brain is simply what's left when your fear brain is turned off. It's everything you are when you aren't in fight or flight. Your flow brain is who you are when your protective mechanisms aren't activated. And that version of you is capable of incredible things, including figuring out what your next career step should be and how to get there. That is a total piece of cake. So I want you to come talk to me today and let me show you how this works. You can drop by anytime for a no strings attached coffee chat. It's not a sales pitch or a sales call. It's just an opportunity for us to talk about whatever's on your mind, and I'll give you some one-off coaching or brainstorming about your situation. The link to book a coffee chat is above. Or you can also book a consult call, and we can map out what a full coaching engagement might look like. So you can not only keep your flow brain activated throughout your job search, so you can land the perfect next role for you, but you can also learn the skill of keeping your flow brain activated in your new job as well. So you can knock it out of the park without burning yourself out. The link to book a free consult call is above. Or if you're listening on Instagram, both of those links are in my bio. Or if you're listening on the podcast, all the links are in the episode description.